What is your beef? Why do you have such a problem with me?
Can we get the real Andy? I would prefer the real Andy.
Oh, let's get the real Max. I'll take off my mask when you take off your mask, brother.
Because who's your new favorite YouTuber, Ian, that wanted to be on the show with us?
The Madman. The Madman.
Mad Movie Man.
Let's bring on Max Movies because he scares the living shit out of me. Hold on.
Oh, wow.
Mad Max says, I think you should apologize. Right? I'm sitting here in a goddamn torn down pool house.
I don't even know who you
pool house
are.
is torn apart. Okay, it's torn apart because I'm remodeling on my $70 webcam. Okay, I'm no better than you.
Movie Madness Entertainment.
Welcome, everyone. This is actually not MME. Kind of a bit of a bait and switch there. This is not MME. This is actually me, RJ, the guy who said he wasn't going to do solo streams anymore. Yeah. So some things didn't age very well, but I figured it's kind of time to have a little bit of a conversation. So I said about 4 days ago that I was done with YouTube content creation, and I was walking away. I was done. Some things have changed. Okay, some things have changed. I've had about 5 days off. I've had some time to reconsider and think about some things, and YouTube is one hell of a drug. It is. But I have decided I will be making content again. Yay! Golf clap. But what's going to happen is that it is not the same kind of stuff as what I've done before. So some things are changing, some stuff's going away, but I think it'll ultimately be for the better. Now, why exactly did I come to this decision? Well, here's the thing. 1, YouTube's a hell of a drug. 2, I think I do better. I think if I'm going to talk the talk about making things better, then I need to actually participate in that and actually do something to do it. I can say that things need to be done better, right? I could say, well, let's do this, let's do that. How about we actually put things into practice and actually try doing things a certain way, right? So, if I'm going to talk that big game, I think it's about time I actually do something about it. So, what are we doing? Well, if you notice, I'm back on Twitter. New handle. It's not too big of a departure. We went from Marvel Mania to now the Marvel Maniac. I like the name Marvel Maniac a little bit better. Idea came from Max a little bit. So, not too big of a change, but the channel will now be called the Marvel Maniac. That's the name of the channel now. You can find it right here. Second thing, I have not decided if we're going to continue Marvel Mania or not. We may not. However, announcing for the first time here, I came up with an idea for a show, which I think will kind of, what's the word for it? I think it'll kind of make things better in terms of structure-wise. This may become the new main show. Instead of doing a bunch of like live streams, there's like 2 different shows, and me trying to balance that out. I may just focus on this one show, and I really like the name of it. And this show will be called Helicarrier Hangouts. Helicarrier Hangouts is basically a live stream show I will be doing where it's literally just me hanging out and talking about whatever we want to talk about. It could be Marvel news. It could be DC news. It could be Star Wars news. It could be entertainment news. It could be talking about video games. It could be me talking about a specific movie I just watched. It could be me talking about a TV show I'm thinking about checking out. It could be literally anything. The idea of this is just to be very chill, focused hangout streams. It could be about food. It could be about food. It could be about tacos. It could be about shawarma. It could be about stuff I did this weekend. It could be really anything. The idea with this is that I want to go and do something more relaxed, something a bit more fun, and something that I feel like can be more of a community building kind of stream versus just a strict business as usual, let's talk about the news kind of thing. Now, again, that does not mean that, no, it's not close to 10 forward. What you talk about? Max is probably asleep. I have no clue where he is. So I want to do something more fun, something more chill. Now, when it comes to Marvel Mania, I've not decided what we're going to do with that. I'm thinking about going either two directions. I'll let you guys decide. It's going to be an evolving process over the coming weeks as we kind of restructure some things with the channel. We could either continue with Marvel Mania as a live show we do once a week. So we do 2 shows a week. Or I could make Marvel Mania more so a pre-recorded show that drops maybe, like a pre-recorded video where I record with a couple people maybe, and we talk about a couple topics, and that's it. Or I could just retire it outright. I want to do more solo videos too. I think solo streams or solo videos could be a lot of fun too. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. We'll see. But again, the idea of Helicarrier Hangouts is to more so be the main live show I do. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And again, Helicarrier Hangouts would just be about, consider like doing a Star Wars show or doing a DC show, just have it be one show I do to where it can be broad encompassing of everything. It would probably mostly be about other topics other than Marvel, though. It's probably what I would be doing. It probably could include wrestling, too. We'll see. It depends on what people want to talk about. I'm going to be very free-flowing with that sort of thing, you know? I don't want it to be too crazy. But I don't know. Like I said, these are just ideas I have, but I think it's better for me to kind of dip my toe back in and have it be more focused on fun conversations versus strict, like, here's a topic, here's a very structured show. I want to try and just do something more fun for a little bit. And then if I feel like that's working, maybe we can go back to doing the more structured shows. We'll see. But I think if I'm going to do solo content, I want it to be more fun. That's kind of what I'm thinking about with this, right? That's kind of where my headspace is at. So, again, not too much is going to change. It's going to kind of be similar content, but probably more solo videos, probably more solo videos, one type of stream every once in a while, dip the toe back in, and then we'll see what happens with Marvel Mania. I think it probably should continue. I think leaving that show to fester a little bit would be a mistake. I think it should continue. I just haven't decided in what form it should continue in yet. So that's kind of where I'm at a little bit. We will see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So at this point, anybody that wants to come on can just come on. So I guess I'll just put it here. I'll put it in Max's chat for a little bit because I don't feel like sending DMs. That's kind of risky, but we'll see what happens. But that's pretty much it. That's all I had really to say. Like I said, I'm sorry. I probably overreacted with deciding not to do anything anymore. But again, I think the time away helped out. So hopefully after this, I won't leave again and say screw it again. Hopefully. We'll see. I don't know. Hey, what's up, guys?
Yo, what's up?
What's up?
Hey.
Hi.
Hello there.
Took my ball and went home, but I decided not to.
It's all right. I mean, you're racking up a good like quitting and coming back record, man. I think I'm on like 2 myself. Like,
No, I think you're more on 3. I think I'm like about tied with you. I think we're both on 3.
okay.
I'll try breaking the record.
So
Man, I never once quit. Y'all a bunch of bitches.
Yeah.
Nah, I get it.
No.
So I actually
Sometimes-
missed the first few minutes of this thing. So what are you doing?
So the idea basically is I'm not going to stop making solo content. I'm just going to restructure it to where I'm going to try and do something more fun with it. So the idea I had was something called Helicarrier Hangouts. That's what the show name I came up with, where it would basically just be me talking about whatever. Really much, it's not confined to a very strict format per se. That's kind of the idea I had with that. So that's what I was thinking.
So
I mean,
so it's 10 forward with Marvel? No.
no.
I'm
I
kidding.
I would never rip off 10 forward. Come on. That's trademarked by Pantheon on it, Enterprises. Or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's
I
a
was
pretty
just-
risky one if he did try that.
I was just jerking your chain, man.
But no, I'm serious though, where it's just like, okay, if like, because I am serious though about like trying to make the community a bit healthier and trying to have more interesting conversations. The only question I haven't decided when I want to do a Marvel Mania yet though, if I want to continue that show or not. I feel like I should, like I'm obligated to, because it's kind of like the flagship show. But I feel like if I do it, I'm kind of like going back to the old format, but I just don't know how to continue it. Where it's
Let me ask you this though.
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me. Why do you feel you need to have a show?
Well, I feel like I offer something unique in terms of my perspective on things. It's something I very knowledgeable about. That's why the channel is the way it was before.
Yeah,
You know?
no, I get that,
So-
but the hesitation that like what I see is like you don't like want to commit, but you still want to do stuff. You just don't want to be placed into a structure.
To be fair,
Kinda,
man,
kinda,
I have
yeah.
the same exact problem with my videos. So, sometimes giving ourselves formats helps us, like, able to keep to what we're doing. Like, for me, I've been reviewing the Saw movies and watching through them every single week. And having that format, if I watch one every single week, has helped me actually stick to that of having a video every single week.
Sure. No, well, I mean, I get that, but because that's you like talking about a specific thing every week, right? And that works out. What I'm referring to here is kind of like when RJ says show, it's like, oh, what's happening in Marvel content that week or whatever. Instead of just making a video about a specific topic that he wants to make, it's like, why shoehorn yourself into having this like structure, this format that you've already kind of had issues with in the past?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
No, that's
talking
fair.
about.
I have. Well, that's the other thing I was mentioning. I do want to try and do more solo videos, right? Where it's just like something happened. I talk about it for 5 minutes and then it gets uploaded. I can try doing that too. Really, I'm in more of a phase where I'm trying to experiment and see what works and what doesn't currently. That's kind of just where I'm at with it.
Yeah, and that's understandable, man.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that too. I've been trying out the YouTube Shorts game. It's not really been like my format mainly. I'm more just like a guy who talks and rambles a lot. So a lot of people don't like my videos because I talk like a lot, but that's just who I am. That's why I call it my channel Chan's movie vlog channel, because it's me literally like sometimes just after finishing a movie, maybe it's a couple days, but it's me just talking about it, you know. I mean, sure, I use the term review, but it's more of just let's have a conversation.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I mean, I can understand that.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people are. Like, I'm in the same boat where I enjoy streaming, but I don't want to do it every single night. You know,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I enjoyed being away for a week. I was like, yeah, and then I did it last night, and I was like, all right, well, that was fun. But then I was just like, well, let me go. I watched 2 episodes of Kenobi, and then I watched The Boys, and I was like, finally, I'm just watching shit. You know, I was up late, but it was worth it.
Oh, yeah, I still have not caught up on The Boys. I actually just finished watching season 1 and 2 for the first time a week ago. I need to get into The Boys season 3. Just have not had the time because of work and stuff.
This upcoming episode apparently has the infamous hero-gasm.
Yes. Yes.
Which I only know really of through Reputation. So I don't quite know what we're going to be in for in a couple days.
Show them to the kids. No, I'm fine.
It's definitely hard to know what you're in for, because The Boys, as someone who's like read and heard some of the comics, I haven't read a ton of them, but I've read enough. The show takes a lot of the darker or like more adult elements and changes them up to where that really fits and is very different and works way better than the comics. In fact, most people who actually have read the comics and watched the show have actually said that the comics are actually weaker than the show.
I've heard that too. Yeah, I've heard that even the comic fans like the show's actually a lot better.
Yeah,
well,
that's
and
what I'm
I
hearing about.
It is better.
I think the big reason for that has a lot to do with the showrunner. You know, Eric Kripke ran Supernatural for 10 years before he left.
Yes, he did.
And the show still went on after him to much fanfare, but he was able to craft this very cult, this very cult show that a lot of people fell in love with over the years. And, even on CW, I think it was still like probably their biggest show. So
we'll start getting behind tomorrow.
I think they just announced a spinoff of Supernatural because that show ended. And, they're still trying to keep that thing running. So,
yeah, they're doing it about the Winchesters' parents, I believe.
Yeah, I never.
Yeah, they're trying as hard as they can to get stuff still moving a little bit. You know.
Yeah, they're trying so hard.
I heard that live action Powerpuff Girls show that they were doing.
No, that got canceled. It got axed.
Oh, that got axed. I heard in an interview somebody said that it was still happening or something, and then they're like,
they decided to scrap the pilot and go back to the. They lost, I think, like the 3 actresses that were in it. And again, like based upon some of the leaked pages that came out of the script, it was pretty god awful. Like, how would this even be allowed?
It's worse than normal CW standards, and that's how you know that you fucked up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There goes Adam.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? So actually, no, it's funny because Max texted me earlier today. He said he's going to give me the silent treatment.
What?
Why?
Why? What happened?
He said that if I give you the silent treatment, it'll make you come back to YouTube faster, is what he said.
Whoa.
Something like that.
Max. Yeah, he's
Way
crazy.
to be hardcore, Max.
So to that
Way
effect,
to be
he's just
hardcore.
this is like, I'm not going to call you for a week. That way it'll motivate you to get back on YouTube. That's what he said.
I mean,
and then just respond back with, "Don't threaten me with a good time."
I will say though, RJ, I work at a movie theater. I'm actually like a greeter, so they hand me a schedule. So what you were saying about Lightyear screens actually being divided between Jurassic World is insane. How they do it. It's literally even standard showings. So what they've been doing is they show Lightyear during the day, and then at night they do Jurassic World, which both do very well. And they actually, a lot of people are saying Lightyear underperformed, but if you actually look at the statistics of like Lightyear and Jurassic World, they did actually very similar box office numbers because they were both limited in screens. And Lightyear and Jurassic World, a lot of people don't realize this, they're actually both playing in 3D as well. And so those screens are divided. At my theater, we don't have IMAX. We have MPX, which is like our version of IMAX, which I actually say it's way better than IMAX, honestly. I saw for that Tuesday screening that they did early, And then I watched that was an IMAX. I watched an MPX, even better. So, D-Box, all those screens are divided. And I think it's very unfortunate to both sides because I think Universal and Disney are angry on both ends. And I think it's frustrating at that point.
I mean, when you have
sometimes
Top
it's
Gun
been-
dominating, Top Gun been dominated, which is gonna do $1 billion by next week.
Well, yeah, I think the report came out today. It passed 900 million.
Yep.
And
Something like that, yeah.
I will say Jurassic World, though, had the biggest drop off, like its second weekend, because it was like 140 million. And then next week it makes 57 million. I know the screens were divided, but that's still like a big, huge drop off, like only in its second week,
But I mean, the thing is though, is Lightyear cut into that, and also Jurassic World cut into Lightyear.
And Top Gun too.
See, Top Gun did well, but again, if it's already done the 900 million, $1 billion is, I don't know. It's possible it may not happen.
We get a sequel?
Well, you also have to remember with Top Gun, because it's been out, it's 4 weeks. They have it playing on less screens than movies that have been out, like that are newer, like Lightyear and Jurassic World. So it doesn't really cut in as much as you think.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, it's like I remember from when I worked at the theater that it was like that, because again, like there's only like so many screens, and they do cut them up and whatever. And then also the standard or the midday shows, your matinee and your early morning, those are cheaper than your prime shows, your evening shows. So the evening show puts on that extra surcharge.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
How the hell does Lightyear cost $200 million to make?
It's expensive animation, man. It's very detailed.
Yeah.
Chris, the voice cast was probably also pretty
That's
high
what
too.
something what Matt is right about, that DC does need to update the animation and make it expensive.
Oh yeah,
they do.
I would be so down for that. I'd be there for every single one of those because, like even the DC animated movies that aren't great, they at least have something that makes you interested in watching them. And I think DC could do that on a theatrical scale too.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there is Super Pets coming out, but
which is going to be
that's
the movie of the summer.
That's gonna bomb.
That's right.
That's gonna bomb.
it's so gonna bomb.
I don't think so because kids love these things.
Yeah, but it
and-
comes out right after Minions.
Yeah,
that's
but-
true.
It comes out 4 weeks after Minions, 3 or 4
Yeah.
weeks.
Oh well. Okay. But okay. So it comes out at the end of summer, essentially, right? Like the last weekend of July, first weekend of August is traditionally like what's considered the last week. So it's either like a make it or break it because some movies do well, other movies don't.
I think it will. I think it will because, to be honest, like I don't see it not because just a lot of kids movies. It really doesn't matter the quality of them. A lot of them just do well because kids,
Yeah, but here's the thing with that though is the
Got
parents.
The Rock and Kevin Hart.
But as I don't want to keep retreading old ground on this.
I
but-
agree. The Rock is not a movie star.
Oh,
So
Yeah, that movie just looks like a cash grab.
I'm
His
just
name
curious
on
though.
posters is bigger than the title of the movie.
I'm just curious if someone were to break down the statistics of how many more parents are more likely to take their kid to these animated movies because of the celebrity voices. Would it even be that high? Because like think about like Scoob, and they had like Will Forte and Zac Efron. Like how many
Should've
more
been Matthew
parents were
Lillard,
watching
by the
that?
way.
What was that?
So what?
It should have been Matthew Lillard, Shaggy. I still stand by that.
Well, yeah,
I think Will
absolutely.
Forte did a good job. He
Not
did a
as
good
as
job.
Matthew Lillard.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
look,
no one's ever going to replace Matthew Lillard
Or
because
Casey
he's
Kasem.
been doing it for so long.
I think they should do Scooby-Doo 3 in live action again.
They
back
should. I
everybody.
would watch that.
On
It should be
HBO
written-
Max.
And it should
as
be
on
written and
HBO
directed
Max.
by James Gunn.
Yep. Even
That'd be
James
great.
Gunn make fun of it the other day. He's like, I would do it. Sure. why
I
not?
think they should release the original cut of Scooby Doo where it was like a
those
rated
deleted
movie.
scenes, yeah.
I want
Did
that
you guys ever hear that story of where they literally like CGI'd over like nude images in the movie and stuff?
Oh,
No, I
yes.
don't know that at all.
I heard about this.
Like there was a bunch of weird shit in the movie that was like super dirty, and then they edited it out. And you can almost see how it could have been a rated R movie, even while you're watching it. Like the version that's out now, like there's that weird scene where they switch bodies, and like Fred's and Daphne's bodies, like, yeah, I can look at myself naked.
Yes, I remember that.
And that's just like it's
Titanic
weird
is
for
gonna
a
hit 3
kids movie,
billion.
you know.
Next year. Titanic is about to hit 3 billion.
Yeah, I saw that. Like they're re-releasing Titanic again. Like, why are they like
It's
re-releasing
hitting
stuff
3
again,
billion.
man? It's
It's
so
hitting
weird to
3
me.
billion.
Like, well, who wants to watch Titanic on the big screen
It's
like the
Disney.
20th time?
What do you expect?
It's weird.
I've actually
It's
never
kinda weird.
seen Titanic on the big screen, so I would be down for that. But that's just me.
I'll watch it again. If it make 3 billion next year, I make 3 billion.
I'm more excited for E.T. and Jaws coming to IMAX.
Yeah, when
in
is that supposed
August
to
and
be happening?
September.
I heard about that. When is that supposed to be happening?
So I think if I remember the dates right, E.T. is August 3rd, and then Jaws is September 13th.
Okay.
It's not bad. It'll make a lot of money. Probably.
Oh heck yeah! You ever notice that like modern kids though, they just don't get into E.T. Like I tried watching it with my 10-year-old cousin, and he was bored.
It's a boring movie.
Yeah,
It really is.
Oh, what?
Dude, it's not okay. It's like, look, I love it's a classic, but so is Close Encounters. Close Encounters is largely boring as fuck. It's a great film, but there is so much shit. Like that movie is like almost 3 hours
Matt,
long.
Like it's like childhood wonderment though.
No, it's not.
nostalgia goggles,
No,
dude.
It's
a boring
If
movie.
you really think about it, more people will admit that they were scared of E.T. as kids than will tell you that they liked it as kids.
I didn't like
I
it.
think.
I was scared of it as a kid.
What's
I
E.T.?
agree with that.
That's
E.T.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
E.T.
That's a
came out
classic
like
movie.
right after I was born. You know what I mean? So it's like I grew up watching the movie. It was like the first VHS movie we owned that we bought when they released it on VHS back in the late 90s or late 80s and stuff. The movie is really good, but it's slow. It's like there's a reason why that they were, Spielberg and Lucas were making the bet about like which movie's going to make more money, Star Wars or Close Encounters. And Lucas thought that Close Encounters would make more money. Spielberg was like, oh, I think Star Wars will make more money. And they bet 2% of the total gross. So Spielberg won that bet and he has 2% of Star Wars, which made him like $40 million.
What's Star Wars?
Well, I think
Star Wars, A New Hope.
I think the Star Wars angle is like a symbol of like the times, because 70s was a period of all these new talent like Spielberg, like Lucas, and other people like that, Coppola, coming in, and they're changing Hollywood. It's called the new Hollywood era for a reason, right? And if you look at what Close Encounters is the opposite of, Jaws or Star Wars, where they're very different new types of movies. Close Encounters is really just like a 50s science fiction movie, but made in the 70s.
Yeah,
That's true. That's very true.
So I think,
it's iconic. It's a classic movie, but it's like,
well, yeah, heck yeah, everybody knows that little theme when the aliens come down.
Exactly. But can you remember, you can remember key moments from the movie, but you're kind of hard pressed to remember it from beginning to end. You're like, did that scene happen? The thing is though, it's even like E.T. was kind of similar on that regard, right?
Yeah, E.T. is definitely like that, because every time I watch E.T., I'm like, I don't remember this, and I've seen this movie like 5 times.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things in E.T., but it's a slower paced movie, as movies in the early 80s were. They're not as rapidly cut now. They're not as they take their time. Look at Alien, for crying out loud, right? I always like to bring this up where it's like you have Alien and then you have Aliens, and you have to approach it. I think you have to approach most movies from that perspective, right? Whereas you have the iconic original, which would be Alien, a slow, burning horror movie and creature feature in space. Excellent film, one of the best of all time.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! But when
you ask most people, what is it you want to see more of? They say Aliens, because Aliens is action-packed science fiction. It's got the great one-liners. Game over, man. Game over. Nuke it from orbit. all that shit. There's all the, they mostly come out at night, mostly. Like there's so many one-liners in that movie that people identify with. It changed the genre of sequels, I think. And it's one of those things where, Alien 3 tried going back to Alien, the original, and it was, again, like the studio interfered, and that's a whole other thing with that. But
That's
Alien
fucked
3
up.
suffered as a result. Then they said, okay, well, let's try Alien Resurrection, which married the concept between Alien and Aliens, where you still have an isolated, space station situation. Now you've got clones, and now you've got like more aliens, and they're fighting them, they're killing them faster. And that, and you've got Ripley back, and you got all this shit. And so again, it was a weird mesh of a movie, but you could see that they're trying to marry both concepts in a way that they were hoping was going to work. And that's that's how I view the Alien. And again, look at I also say, look at the Die Hard effect for certain movies. And this was actually done before Die Hard with Indiana Jones. But I think Die Hard is a good way to look at it, where you have your original, your first movie, which is a single standalone adventure. Then you get your sequel, which is an offshoot, right? Other things happen. But then you get your third movie, which then brings back elements from the first movie and makes something about the villain, right? Indiana Jones, it's the Nazis, then it's the Tuggy Cult, and then it's the Nazis.
Well, it's also just the trilogy effect, where it's like this, most movies cap off with the trilogy, so you have to tie it in together,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think again, also the trilogy concept is tied into a kind of an outdated notion of storytelling, the 3-act structure, the beginning, the middle, and the end. But we actually I think that's very arbitrary when discussing story structure, because there's more than just 3 acts in a story. In any story, more than 3 things happen, right? And I think we kind of bog ourselves down to this very narrow view of how stories are supposed to go. It's one of the reasons why I think television shows have, especially those like cable dramas that have been able to expand these stories, have done as well as they have, why they've become as culturally iconic as they have, more so than movies these days, right? I really do look at Stranger Things, look at Game of Thrones, The Mandalorian. These shows have come out and changed the game.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who's been watching Game of Thrones for the first time, you really see how many characters die, all these different beats that keep happening. Sometimes it's actually hard to follow, but it really hooks you into the show more because you're able to see a lot more happen, everything be fleshed out, and that's the exciting thing about television and when it really works.
Well, exactly.
Well, real quick, I want to read this super chat just really quick. H Parts for $5 saying, try to get someone from my generation to sit down and watch Godfather. It won't work, sadly. Which, yeah, that's fair.
Godfather's amazing. Yeah.
I think it depends on the person.
Still haven't seen it.
God damn it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I may not even stream tonight and just go watch fucking The Thing because it's the 40th anniversary.
All right, Matt, I'm gonna go on Amazon. I'm gonna buy you the 4K $63 set, and I'm gonna ship it to your house.
I mean, that's cool. I've seen the screenshots of the 4K HDR version. And it looks spectacular.
Yeah, I'm gonna write you a note that says "Watch it or die." Too.
I got a PO box. There you go. No, I do. I do need to watch it though. It is. I am trying to make more time to watch stuff and talk about stuff.
I've definitely been doing that. For me, I've been a big physical media collector. Have tons of 4K movies, and I didn't have a 4K TV, and my Blu-ray player died, so I upgraded that to 4K, and then I found a TV on sale. So now I've been making time to watch all these movies, and it's been a very rewarding experience. Being able to watch all these movies that by now I should have seen. I didn't watch Shawshank Redemption until literally just a few weeks ago.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, well, what'd you think of it?
So, I know everybody knows the reputation of that movie, where it's #1 rated movie on IMDb and all these review websites. To me, that kind of affected my view on it. Not a lot, but I was I don't know if this is the greatest. It's what it is it's a really great drama, and I think it's one of the greatest dramas of all time. And I think more people, when they're talking favorites, need to approach movies from that type of conversation, right? Because I don't like the talking of, oh, this is the best game of all time. Well, it's like, but there's so many games that are fit into different genres, and we should more separate things into genre, just
Yeah.
when we're talking about things like that.
Well, I mean, it's all subjective, right? Like
Yeah.
I look at like the first time I saw Shawshank was in a film class when I was in high school, like in '98, right? And so the movie had been out for a few years, but it was rated R. I was 94, I was 12, so we had to get permission from our parents to watch R-rated movies. But we watched Shawshank, and it was such a profoundly impactful movie at the time to me that like I've watched it countless times since. And it's always it just the way Frank Darabont adapted that story is why it resonated so well. It's why The Green Mile resonated so well. The Mist resonated so well with King fans because he was able to capture, I think, a lot of the human elements of what King was trying to do in some of those stories. But then you get something like The Majestic, which I think is a wonderful movie.
Oh yeah,
And-
one of Jim Carrey's most underrated performances.
Oh yeah, and also Martin Landau as well. You know what I mean? And like, the movie is wonderful. I think it's such a feel good movie. It's very reminiscent of, again, like I made a comment last year that pissed off a lot of people when I called a lot of the fandom menace types like the new McCarthy, the McCarthyites, right?
I remember hearing about that.
and it pissed them
That's
off.
really
But then
true, to be
you
honest.
go and you watch something like go watch the Majestic, the final act of The Majestic when he goes in front of Congress, and he goes in front of a McCarthy like person, and you can listen to it. Just go and look at how McCarthy treated all this stuff and how they did all these witch hunts. And what I loved, just as a funny little side note, and people kept telling me after that video came out and it blew up the way that it did, is that McCarthy was right. I had a lot of people tell me McCarthy was right. I'm like, McCarthy was like, he died in disgrace. Like McCarthy was never right about literally anything, but it was still that witch hunt that happened. So, but it's part of our culture and we never talk about it.
I think that shows like two sides to that of where like that's how subjective movies are, that someone who's clearly meant to be the villain could still be seen as the hero, but it also shows that we're able to weaponize villainous characters in media and make them look like heroes even though they're the villains.
Well, I mean, like there's still a very large amount of people on Twitter that are like, that Hitler guy wasn't so bad, right? I've seen those takes.
Yeah, that's
like,
shoe horse theory, Matt, right?
The horseshoe theory, theory.
I'm sorry.
And it's very no. It's a very true theory. It's where the horseshoe, we all know what it looks like, right? Where it's either side at the extremes are exactly the same, just different ideologies, and that's basically kind of where we find ourselves now with with all this stuff. But I do actually have to dip because I got to go put my kids to
Matt,
bed.
if you got to dip, you can't.
Yeah,
so.
I got
Okay, Matt, before you head out there, I just wanted to mention, remember how you said a couple of days ago, if like a bunch of like a crazy like drama happened while you were gone, you would like laugh your ass off? Well, man,
Pretty
I was,
eventful week, yeah.
I was, as RJ knows, I bought the internet package for my phone so I could keep up with what's going on, because that's the only way I'm going to stay sane.
Oh,
and so I'm sitting there
trying to have it owned there. God damn it, you took it away from me.
And I paid $100 for internet on this fucking cruise ship. And so yes, it was.
I have a question. I've heard like cruises are fucking like okay, it's probably like a bad idea, but I mean I heard from like Tim Dillon that they're like cruise ships are like inexpensive. Is that true, or are they like?
Well, I mean, you have to kind of gauge the concept of it, right? It's an all-inclusive getaway, right? So like, for example, if you want to travel to, like, we traveled to Alaska, so we went to a glacier, we went to a couple different cities, and
it's pretty fun.
Yeah. But wait, oh yeah, I met the polar bear, that's right.
Oh yeah.
That was in Ketchikan. That was funny. But it's like you go, okay, well, I want to go to all these places, and so you just bring your luggage, you put it in your room, and then it's a floating hotel, and all your food is taken care of, 3 meals a day.
And all the booze is there too.
If you want to drink,
booze on there.
Yeah. I don't drink, so I didn't do that. You can gamble. I don't gamble either. So
throw like a wild card in there, all right?
Well, I mean, like, but there's arcade. I went to the arcade, and the arcade has literally the exact same machines that are in the casino. Right, and you get points. It's literally gambling for kids.
That's pretty okay. That's actually pretty disturbing.
I'll see if I could find some video footage we took of it. But it's like,
Well,
So there's that, and then but you know, going to these places, like I hung out with my dad,
That's
my
awesome,
kids, my
man.
girlfriend,
Very
like
cool.
you know, like we were in a place called the Icy Straight Point, which was a very little. It was just a town with maybe like 5 people in it, and they had like a crab shack and like a museum and the gift shops. That was it. And you know, we just like my 4-year-old and I sat on the beach, and we just threw rocks into the water. You know, we just hung out for like 20 minutes and threw rocks. And that was fun. That was amazing. I just, you know, my 2-year-old couldn't handle it, unfortunately, because she's only 2, but the 4-year-old could. And so we have that memory. And I spent a lot of time playing with my 2-year-old and, you know, just like walking her around, and then also her tantrums. Those were fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like, you know, or she likes to run. And you know,
Don't we all at that age, right?
Well, I'll put it to you like this. There's a little thing people do on cruise ships where they give out little rubber duckies. And it's kind of this little like tradition that a lot of cruisers have. And so somebody, when we were in Victoria, the night before we docked, gave my daughter a little ducky with a pair of headphones. It was a cute little thing. And she really, really, really liked it. Until yesterday morning when we're doing our final walk around the top deck, waiting for everyone to disembark. And all of a sudden, my 2-year-old takes that rubber ducky and she hucks it off the boat.
Oh no!
And she hucks it off the boat towards the dock, and I have no idea where the duck went. I'm hoping that a gust of wind, because it was kind of windy, knocked it back into a lower balcony, because I didn't hear anyone, like any commotion from down below or whatever. But she just like, she was like 40, 50 feet away from me. And all of a sudden I just see her like just arch her arm back and huck it. And it's like slow motion. And I'm like, no. You know, and then of course what was really funny was we went back down to the room, we got our stuff, and we were heading out to exit, and someone else had left another duck right on a little circuit breaker box. So I just grabbed that and gave that to my kid, you know.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Like,
Well,
I mean, we
I'm
just
happy you had a good time, man.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I got a little, you know, we got sunburned in Alaska. Go fucking figure.
Wait, so are you like back in like Washington now, or?
Yeah. Yes.
No,
I'm
he's
still on the boat.
He's still on the boat. No, he's still on the boat. Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I don't fucking
complete with like full on my full setup here with my very expensive microphone, and yeah, no, it's
Yeah, he bought the whole boat. He bought the whole boat.
yeah.
Right.
Well, there are cruises
You
you
didn't
can
even
go
like me
on.
that much anyway, so.
Well, there are
Matt is really a millionaire.
Yeah, I wish. Oh shit. The way I found out today that like my property value has like over doubled in the past 2 years as a result of the
shit.
pandemic. Houses on my street, which is a dead end in the
Like
middle of the
$1 million
woods.
bucks, that's the same with my parents' neighborhood stuff there. you
Yeah,
know?
one of them sold for almost $1 million. Yeah.
There you go.
And I'm just like, what? So my girlfriend's like, do you want to sell and like, you know, go live in a mobile home somewhere? And I'm like, we get some money.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
actually, if you got, I was gonna read the super chat real quick, but you got to bounce Matt.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Astronaut for $5 here saying Marvel Ghostbusters Afterlife director Jason Reitman will helm Marvel's Fantastic Four with Justin Theroux and Elizabeth Lale as the
not true.
iconic couple.
Is that happening right now, or is that
That's actually not. That's like a rumor. That's like a fan cast thing.
I've been
it's
hearing
not
about
I
this
don't
rumor.
believe
Yeah.
that because Jason Reitman went out like a couple of weeks ago, announced
Okay.
all the Ghostbusters stuff. He is very involved with that franchise, and
Yeah,
I think
he's too involved.
I think
Can you
he's
give me a little
going
hint
to
about the
helm that
Fantastic
for the
Four
next
stuff?
very long time. I think he's going to. I think if it's not already announced and already confirmed, he's directing Ghostbusters Afterlife too, which I'd be fine with. But the direction of that movie wasn't my issue with it. I think it just felt a little too samey, and there wasn't enough
I
ghosts.
thought a
There was
little bit
only
too
one new
masturbatory
ghost in
for
that
me
movie.
personally.
So
I think he should direct X-Men. There you go.
You
That's
know.
such a random
whatever.
choice. But anyway, H Bart's here for $2 saying anybody on the panel appreciates silent film.
Oh yeah, no, I
Yeah, of course.
do.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
pretty good.
there's a lot of good silent films
I
out there.
think
There is-
depends on
Speaking
the
of
silent
films,
movie.
actually, speaking of films, I've actually got a list of like probably my favorite indie films of the year so far. And actually, there's this great little Sundance movie. There's 2 of them. Cha Cha Real Smooth that I just saw with Dakota Johnson. That was pretty good. And Brian and
I've
Charles.
heard good things about that
really
one. Definitely
awesome.
add that to my list.
Well, both of those are fantastic. I also finally went to go see Crimes of the Future. That was also pretty good. So there's been a lot of great stuff. You know, like today. Like, a lot of people complain about there's nothing but like sequels, remakes, reboots stuff, but there's like a bunch of great original films out there. And
Well, but the marketing doesn't
yeah, but
push
like
them
they're
out
still
there.
out there, Matt. You know,
No, I'm not disagreeing.
I
So-
think there's. I
go
think.
out and see them, Matthew.
I think a lot of times though these studios they take these indie films that I think could be more successful if they gave them the marketing and push. And what's really
I don't know, dude. Like here's
Well-
the thing though, I would agree with that like 5 or like 10 years ago, but the thing is like just like I don't know. I mean, like look at everything everywhere all at once though. Like that had like a short marketing budget.
Yeah,
thing,
well, the difference though is that it had a neat concept, just had a great release date too.
Yeah.
Plus, I think the marketing, like, you can have a small marketing budget, but if your marketing has impact, if it, like,
But the
gets
word of mouth was very high.
that's the other thing, word of mouth too.
Yeah,
So-
I feel like the lack of marketing kind of like lets people off the hook though. That to me is kind of like.
Well, wasn't that A24 who did?
Yeah,
it was-
A24
Yeah,
like
it was, it
probably one of the
was.
best. Actually, no,
Yeah,
another
yeah,
great
it was
indie
A24.
film this year was X. Also, that was a great horror film as well.
I thought it was
Yes.
okay, honestly. I didn't really get into X. I'm curious to see what the prequel is, but it was very like I didn't really get what the.
Is it
hubbub
is it
about.
called X colon gonna give it to you?
Actually, I'm seeing Thor tomorrow at some point.
Somebody did gonna give it to somebody in that movie. That's all
I
I'm
heard.
Guys,
I heard.
well, to answer your question, Degrassi, no, because I don't have access. If I had access, I probably
might
would be able to
seeing
see it.
sooner. I'm not this week or something like that. But I want to ask you guys, like, what do you guys think the reception of Thor is going to be?
I don't know.
I
mean, it's a Marvel movie. so, yeah, it's probably gonna get
cinema
high
score.
praise.
After
A+
Doctor
cinema
Strange
score.
2, which I actually really loved. I really love that movie. I'm kind of worried about what the reception of this one's going to be, you know? Because,
I think it's gonna be better than Doctor Strange because there's less expectations for Thor. To be honest, I think
Yeah.
Doctor Strange was a good movie, and while it wasn't flawless, I think that the expectations that movie had of changing the game and making everything, like blow your mind, and that didn't happen, right? And even me, right? I thought these were official reports that like Loki and Sylvie were going to be in the movie, and they weren't.
But
And there was a part of me that was
not true.
disappointed in that, but I was also like, no one told me they're going to be in the movie.
Okay, here's
so
one
why
more
should
thing
I
that's
really
really
care?
stupid. Here's one more
You
thing that's
know?
really stupid. Matthew, you're gonna love this. You know, Matt's favorite people, Sil and Mike have been like hyping up this like Raimi cut, but if you really look at Raimi's filmography, like he like makes like fucking short ass movies. Like it's like it
Well, a
makes
lot
no
of-
Yeah,
there's
it was,
no-
it was
there
normal
were
for
a lot
him. His
of-
Spider-Man
really
movies
like
were
that.
around the same time length.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, just real quick though, in regards to Love and Thunder, Ragnarok had an A+ cinema score and debut at 93% Rotten Tomatoes. I'm gonna say Thor: Love and Thunder A+ cinema score probably more like 89 to 91%.
I think
I
that's
think
a
it's gonna
pretty
be pretty
good.
strong.
So the
estimate
question
there,
is,
you
do you
know?
think people are going to love it, or are they going to bring the thunder against it?
I mean, there's gonna be like a bunch
I
of
don't
people
know,
that are gonna be
man.
pissed off at it because it's like quote unquote woke, but fuck those people. Like those guys don't fucking matter.
They're not the majority. No, I think for the
They're
most
idiots.
part, I think people will like the movie. I think there's just like, here's one of the funny things about Thor: Love and Thunder, right? This is actually one of the very few Marvel movies, at least from what I've seen, nothing's leaked.
Yeah.
Nothing's
nothing's
leaked.
leaked.
Not
That's
like
not
Doctor
tight
Strange.
to the
Because
Like-
they shot in the
like-
volume. That's
I'm
why.
saying, like with Doctor Strange, when it was coming out in like 2 weeks from now, like around the same kind of length, there was already leaks already. Thor,
But
there's
I think
nothing
I
leaking.
think part of the leaking thing is this. So like a movie like Spider-Man, it's Spider-Man, it has a ton of expectations. And when you reveal that title for Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, people want to know what's there. So they were trying to leak it out because they knew that there's money there. When it comes to Thor, it's like I think it has less expectations going into it. And so no one really is trying
I
to
disagree. I disagree.
Really? Okay, go ahead.
Thor Ragnarok had very little expectation going in.
It'd be Joss.
actually, I would
And
agree
it
with that
ended
too,
up-
because it was after Thor: The Dark World as well.
Yeah, and people, see, here's the thing: we had a bit of a Thor-sance, So Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame,
Endgame, yeah.
were all it was very much a Thor arc, like a Thor trilogy with those
how
films.
people, like,
Here's
turn
my
on Endgame,
thing, though,
that's pretty
about
weird.
what you're saying. Yes, that's true, but I think Infinity War did an amazing job with Thor. was not a fan of what they did with him in Endgame, and I know a lot of people weren't. So like I still
Well,
think there's less
but again, it's kind of like with Kenobi, people bitching about what was the point of Kenobi? We're not paying the fuck attention to Kenobi.
Well,
right?
That's exactly.
And
how
I think
some people are.
I think that's not really my complaint with that story. It was more just the fact that we have this dude who's suffering from PTSD and trauma, and then it's like most of the movie is like them laughing at him, calling him fat. It's like it feels like the character should have more of a sad reaction to seeing him the way he is.
Well,
I
he
think
also disappeared for 5 years.
Yeah.
They didn't see him for 5 years. And so they see him now when he's fat and they're like, what the fuck? Sure, they needed compassion, but he also wasn't like we knew as the audience
one of the
knew.
best scenes I think one of the best scenes in that movie with Thor is when Hulk is talking to him and he says the name Thanos, and like you see in that scene that Thor's almost like having a PTSD panic attack. He's like,
yeah,
don't even say
don't even bring it up.
Yeah,
and that's a
I know what you
beautiful
mean.
moment. But there's not enough of that in the movie, and I think it really.
I think there's enough subtlety with the arc that would establish in Ragnarok. Hell, the arc that was established in the Dark World and coming through. You know, that's the thing with. I believe Thor had the best character development out of those Avengers films, really, or out of the first phase.
I would disagree in the sense that because of Thor being as inconsistently written throughout all the movies.
Just when he's about to leave, they pull him back in.
You know, it's like they just kind of decide what works and then they change it.
But well, I mean, but the thing with that though is what they chose to do was actually a Chris Hemsworth decision.
Yeah, that actually is pretty true because like a lot of stuff that Chris Hemsworth, because he was kind of bored after like Thor: The Dark World. Actually,
I guess that's kind of true. And Natalie Portman suggested different things, or not different things,
Natalie
similar
Portman
things.
was done. Like Taika Waititi had to
Yeah,
go
so-
talk to her.
and I
I think,
think-
hey, I got an idea. Maybe you be on board with this. We bring you back. For
Well,
this.
yeah, but like I've also
And I-
said, the only good thing to come out of Ghostbusters 2016 was Chris Hemsworth being funny.
yeah, that actually. Is pretty
And-
you don't think Melissa McCarthy, the legend?
Melissa McCarthy was kind of like
No, Melissa McCarthy's not no legend.
Okay, I happen I like Melissa McCarthy, and I'll stand by that statement.
Oh, absolutely.
But and I love Kristen Wiig and I love Kate McKinnon, but Kate McKinnon
Oh yeah, I
was
love
a standout.
Kristen Wiig and Kate McKinnon. I watched that MacGruber series. She was
Oh, I
great.
haven't seen MacGruber
Yeah.
yet. The series, I love the movie
have
though.
not seen it either. So
Also,
please
really
do
quick,
not spoil it.
Thank you, Astronaut, for the $2 super chat. Yeah, I just made that up. Also coming in, it's the man, the myth, the legend himself. Oh, never mind. It's just Max.
What do you
Oh,
mean?
you thought it was Kristen Wiig?
And the legend.
Oh, hey, what the hell's going on here?
Hey, what's up, Max?
So you
Hey.
missed it. I hosted a stream and I made some announcements.
Probably to drop some scoops, Max. Just kidding.
Yeah,
No
Drop me-
scoops, no.
lots of scoops.
Like he's talking.
Well, I do
RJ
that one
He's
thing.
joining the
There's
Fandom
34
Menace. He's
people
going to be on
watching.
Friday Night Fights.
And only 18 thumbs up. What the hell, viewers? Come on, thumbs
know,
us
what
up
the hell,
for
guys?
RJ.
Did you just
I
wake
think.
up?
Yes, I just woke up. What the,
And you
I don't know.
automatically came here?
Yeah.
Just like
Well,
that?
I actually turned on my Xbox and I looked at my phone because when I play games, I got
You
a
mean
notif-
shitbox?
What?
Oh, come on, y'all. Don't be mean.
What?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, wow, that's
Go ahead,
weird.
go ahead. If it's what you're saying.
Anyway,
man.
And
I
then
happen
I
to have
see-
an Xbox.
and then I got a notification that my channel's going again. And I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it's like a fucking ghost, you know.
I don't know. I don't even know what announcement. Well, obviously you're streaming.
Yep.
Good.
So
My silent treatment worked.
Oh, I told them about that. They all said you were a jerk for that.
What?
Oh, come on. Wait,
What do you mean I was a
why
jerk?
can't Max
You went
catch a
too
fucking
far,
break?
man.
Why-
Yeah, well,
why-
actually, tell everyone
That's way
tell
too far.
everyone what
Oh
you
my
sent me.
God.
Tell everyone what you sent me today.
You what? You want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
I gotta go play my game. I just came on here to see what the hell's going on. I said,
Oh, it's okay. I'm gonna be ending here soon anyway. So
I said, reverse psychology. The more I tell you you're great and talented, the more you leave everything. So I'm not going to ask you to on shows or call you for a week,
That's pretty funny.
and you will be
Crazy.
back! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation! LOL. Enjoy your break, RJ.
wow.
And then I
Gotta
said,
find
now,
out a super
and then I
shot.
said, now I'm going to give you the silent treatment. Go play video games and go touch or smoke some grass. Either way, Mad Max movie talk leaves. and that was a little.
Trying to make a pipe bomb?
Oh, should I add you back to my group?
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. Let's see how tomorrow
What the hell?
goes.
Why'd Matt leave?
Matt had to go. He was
He was too cool for us. He was too cool for school.
Hey, Jan, the movie guy. I was going to have you on anyway, so I'm glad you're here.
I do want to share with you guys an interesting theory that I came up with about 2020. You guys remember when all the movies got delayed and they're being pushed back? I think personally, Hollywood, when they were trying to put movies back in theaters during that time, should have spent their time with the big movies, kept them on hold.
Yeah,
Not all of them.
that's probably should have been for the best, honestly.
But
then
what they
again,
should have
a lot of
done.
those movies turned out to be pretty lackluster, honestly.
Well, maybe I think 2020 was a great. 2021 was an amazing year for movies, but
not really.
what I'm saying is that they should have
was
done
a lot better for that one. I think 2020 was kind of lackluster.
Well, 2020 was just straight up bad, but 2021 was the year because
2021. I'm talking about 2021.
Yeah. But what I think they should have done is instead of, holding on to these big movies is they needed to spend the money and take those smaller movies, those indie movies, and
I mean that's what they
market
did
them
though.
and give them marketing budgets because
2020.
you do have to supply theaters with movies, right, while they're open. And what better way to do it with a movie that's low budget and is not going to cost you a big loss like those big movies? And they should have at least tried to test the waters with these smaller movies. Because I think the issue with modern film going is just what's the next big movie? It's not sit down and let's talk about this movie. And that's mostly because of blockbuster culture, And so I think slowing down and maybe take 5 indie movies that cost 20 million or whatever, marketing them, giving them the push they need, something like everything all at once, right? And then maybe you put out one blockbuster a month.
I'm gonna go play TMNT.
See, the thing about Hollywood is that they don't run on a schedule there. They basically just they basically just it's sort of like the Wild Wild West. This is my territory. You got to get off of it.
Thanks,
stuff like
everyone.
that.
Don't burn the house down, RJ.
We're gonna totally burn down the house now.
Wait, hold on. I just get here and now you say don't burn the house down, Max?
No, I actually Matt's been pretty good lately.
I haven't been here for a week.
Oh, that's why.
He's been
all right.
Like I've been gone. So
Also, you say that like Matt's not good all the time.
I'm amazing.
Well, real quick, we have another $5 super chat. Thank you, Ash Eternal. You guys have been very supportive of the stream. Thank you so much. Gavin J. Knepp will helm Black Panther 3 with an all-white cast.
I'll tell you this. Marvel's very secretive about Black Panther 3 so much that so we had a box, right?
Not even in development yet, my dude.
Well, not Black Panther 3. I'm talking about Black Panther 2.
I mean that one actually, some stuff's already been leaked out about it already.
Well, but they're very secretive about it so much that we got a poster for it, like a teaser poster, and it's literally just says Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Yeah,
I saw that.
It hasn't started promoting yet.
No, it just says the name of the movie.
I think it's still going to come out this year. I still think it is.
Oh, it's still going to come out, but it's just funny how secretive they're being. That we're all
the same thing happened
we at work.
though.
We're so excited.
I think it's going to be a trailer pretty soon, next couple.
Yeah, no, it's probably going to be coming out next week or the week after.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a trailer like very soon because it's like.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be either, but I just thought that we at work were so excited. We saw Black Panther 2, and we're like, "What's this?" And then we open it up, and it's just a black poster with text that says Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
I'm gonna listen on my phone.
All right, see you, Max.
All right, see you, Max.
Bye, have a good thing.
Degrassi here says the success of this weekend's revival of John Carpenter's The Thing is going to turn every Cineplex into a repertory house. I think I said that.
I don't think so, to be honest, because here's what I'll tell you. So we used to do flashback movies, and we stopped doing that. But it's the thing about these classic movies is you have to be careful which ones you pick, right? So I tell you right now, if my theater was showing Rocky Horror Picture Show, seats would fill up. But if they showed a movie like Saving Private Ryan or something like that, they're going to be empty. So like showing classic movies is like cool, but you have to be careful about the ones
It's
you
also
pick.
about the timing as well. You know?
Yes, it's
but
also about the
But
timing.
you have to pick the ones with big audience and cult audiences. Cult audiences will show up for their favorite movies because they're the ones who have kept those movies alive and around. Like guaranteed, they're going to do more John Carpenter screenings because John Carpenter movies have cult audiences like Big Trouble in Little Chinatown. How many people at conventions ask John Carpenter and say, "Hey, when's Big Trouble in Little China 2 happening?" And he always tells these people the same thing. You guys know this movie was a flop, right?
Yeah.
But
Well-
like they're probably going to show Big Trouble in Little China and things like that, coming up. I'm sure.
I think. Well, this is the 40th anniversary of The Thing. Obviously, that's a big deal. The movie, out of all of Carpenter's filmography, I would argue The Thing is probably his most. I don't want to say is probably his most popular, even outside of Halloween.
I would still say it's Halloween, just because how much.
Well,
is fun in it.
Halloween has been able to be franchised, and that's because of the original concept of a slasher. But the thing with The Thing is that it was based on a story. It was also a remake of another movie. And, like the Thing will have multiple home video releases that sell very well. Part of the reason
that 4K, man, I still haven't watched it, but that 4K.
I have the
was
4K,
flying
yeah.
off themselves.
Oh, nice.
I have the 4K. I got that when it came out.
I think it might be still on sale for $13.
Matt, how much you want
if
for
guys
it?
in the chat want to go pick it up
No.
on Amazon.
I'm not
They
selling
are,
that.
they are. I want to ask you something.
I'm not
just
selling my
kidding.
4K.
I'm playing.
Well, like what I mean, because tonight they were doing the screening, and I thought about going to it, but I did yard work and now I'm in pain, so I'm like, no, I'll probably just cuddle
Well,
up in
Matt,
bed.
actually, I'm glad Little Trouble in Little China was brought up. Have you guys heard the rumors that they want The Rock to star in a remake?
That's
of it?
not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
water.
What they
I'm
should
not
Play
do.
devil's advocate,
would
though,
just-
Matt. Hold on, though, real quick, Matt. If that happens, what is your reaction? if
I would
that
see
is
it.
made?
I will go see it. I will absolutely go see it. Like that is.
I would
Big
go
Trouble in
see it
Little China
too,
with The Rock.
but
It,
Oh my god.
well,
So
was it a
maybe-
remake or was it a sequel? Because like, I've heard both.
Sequel,
However,
reboot.
However,
remake will.
here's the thing with Big Trouble in Little China. That was my very first Carpenter movie that I've ever seen. I saw it back in the summer of 97 or 87 when I was in San Diego visiting family. We watched that movie and Space Camp back to back, and I've never really cared about Space Camp, but I've rewatched Big Trouble. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've watched Big Trouble. It is my favorite Carpenter film. I mean, The Thing I think is his best movie, but Big Trouble is my personal favorite. And it's like, I mean, just the one-liners of, I'm going to tell you about an accident. I don't want to hear act of God is one of my favorite things ever said. Especially the older I get now that I understand what it means, And the thing is though, like with that movie, no, no, they should never touch it. If they're going to do a sequel, what they should do is, there was a comic book line called Old Man Jack.
I heard about that.
It
Oh,
was
yeah, I
it was
heard
a
about that,
comic run about Old Man Burton and shit like that, and like all the crazy shit that happens. Like James Hong is 93 years old or something. Like could they bring back Lopan? They should if they do something with it.
Wasn't James Hahn just in everything?
I
Everything.
I
at
think
once?
a
If I'm
sequel to
remembering
Big
right.
Trouble
I
in
forget.
China is, like, so
forget if that
fucking
was
off
him
the
or
rails
not.
there.
Yes, he was. Yeah, and just make sure one at a time.
Here's what I'll
Gotcha,
say:
RJ.
the best way to continue Big Trouble in China is 20th Century Fox owns it. They should just make it an animated series. Do what you're saying, Matt. Adapt the comics. Have Kurt Russell voice the character in the animated show, and make it for Hulu and make an adult animated Big Trouble in Chinatown series.
It doesn't even need to be adult, all things considered. I mean, even the original
I'd say adult
was
because
bloodless.
the movie itself was more PG-13, and so I feel like a show would be. And so
Sure,
anything
sure,
that's
but,
above a
well,
PG is considered adult, even
but you
though
know
that's
what,
kind
like,
of ridiculous.
HBO Max is getting ready to put out the Mogwai animated
Oh
series.
yeah, I can't wait for that.
And
I think they
some-
announced the end of the year or something like that.
Well, there's some. I think it's sooner than that because some early reviews have come out.
Well,
or
that's
reactions.
because there's an animation film festival or
Oh,
like
okay.
a showcase going off, and there's so a lot of animated projects have actually been in the news. And that's how that there's that Kung Fu Panda series. They dropped a trailer for that this week.
Oh
And the
yeah,
reason why that
yeah.
got dropped is because they were showing that off at this
That
festival or whatever.
franchise is irrelevant.
I love Hamada there. Hamada there's like I love Carpenter's music. His Big Trouble score is great. Hell
Thank you,
yeah, dude.
Walter Hamada.
Big Trouble. You know,
Walter
in
Hamada,
Little
fuck you.
China. It's
Yeah,
the
I
sound,
mean,
dude. The
everything John
soundtrack for Big
Carpenter
Trouble
does
is
is
fucking
amazing.
awesome. The soundtrack is all 80s synth. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah, I watched the new Firestarter movie. Awful movie, but John Carpenter's score for that movie, pretty good.
You know what sucks was so the last time I went on a cruise was in 2016, and Carpenter was touring in Portland the week that I was gone.
Oh shit!
And if I recall, Tenacious D just toured in Portland this past week, and I was gone.
He actually came to my hometown.
Oh, you missed the
actually.
D?
I thought about
Dude.
going, but I couldn't afford the tickets. So.
I once had front row seats to the D. They
Oh,
performed at
dude.
Comic-Con in 2005 in Hall H. Kevin Smith introduced them. We had front row seats. I had to leave because one of my friends was getting married across the bay. I was pissed. I legitimately asked, like, I was like, can I skip? I don't want to, is one of my best friends. I don't want to skip his wedding, you know? But I was like, literally like going, do I see Tenacious D, which is one of my all-time favorite bands, or do I go watch my friend get married? Which will have a longer lasting impact in my life?
I'll
At this
choose
point,
Tenacious D, sorry.
I should have chose Tenacious D and then gone to the reception afterward.
Yeah, but
'cause
you
I
know what?
haven't
I'll tell you this, Matt. That was like me. And so we were late going to the fair here in town. Smash Mouth was there. Missed them. We went home because the line was just too bad to get in there. Because how it worked is the fair. Every year they have one concert to end out the fair, and it's free. How many seats they can fill up?
Yeah.
Next day after Mission Smash Mouth, they go, "That was our last tour concert. We're retired."
Damn.
Yeah.
That's why in those
Anyways, I
situations,
gotta head out
because
here, guys. But, it's good talking to you.
All right, see you, man.
Later.
Awesome.
Uh,
It's always good talking to man.
see you later, man. What was it? Weird Al does that too for a lot of the, like when I saw him at San Diego, the county fair back in 2008. And, but like, it was a free show, but my friend had gotten in and bought four tickets to like the sit down section. So he's like, hits me up, he's like, hey man, I got a ticket to go see Weird Al. It was front row in the seated section. So I didn't have to corral with everybody. We sat back, drank beer, and just like watched Weird Al perform Straight Outta Linwood, like basically the full album. So,
Now,
which
is
was,
it true that after every song he changes his outfits?
Yep. I'll tell you this though, the best concert I've ever been to that put on the best stage production, you guys are going to laugh. This is 100% true. I'm not making this up.
I'm dying to know. I am dying to know.
It was December 2007. I went to the very first reunion tour for the Spice Girls. I'm a big Spice Girl fan. I'm a huge Spice Girl fan. And every song they had, not only did they have a different set change, they had 2 costume changes. Every song. And they did not fucking film the concert for DVD release. Those sons of bitches. I'm so pissed. Because on that specific one, when they didn't do Wannabe until the encore, right? But they get up there and they're all like, all right, everybody, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Yeah, tell me what you want, what you really fucking want. They started swearing during Wannabe, right? They were literally swearing like during Wannabe.
No.
And it was one of the coolest things. Like Tom Cruise was literally like 30 feet behind me in a skybox with David Beckham, and Suri Cruise was like an infant. And I saw Tom hold her out over the crowd like the opening of fucking Lion King, you know? And it's just like, you just wanted to go, you know, like you just wanted to sing it like he's Rafiki and shit, you know? And like, but that Tom Cruise, it was such a weird night, such a crazy ass night. My buddy and I were like, dude, we're going to be like, all the girls there are going to be our age. We were both single at the time. Like all the girls there are going to be our age. It's going to be fucking awesome. You know, we get there. They were all like fucking 11. Right. Like we're like, we walk in like two mid-20s guys, fat dudes with beards and shit walking in. Like I have like a nice pair of pants on. I have a suit jacket. I've got like, you know, like I think I had a gamer tee on underneath or whatever. I was like trying to rock in that style. My friend comes in dressed like a punk rocker. He's got like a fucking Dropkick Murphy shirt, bracers and everything. I'm like, what the? We're going to a Spice Girls show. Why are you dressed like you're going to go into a mosh pit? You know? And he's like, I don't know what's gonna happen and shit. And then it was like nothing but like teenage girls and shit. And we're just all like, well, and it was a school night. So as soon as the concert was over, like it just cleared the fuck out, right? Great show. Excellent show.
That's almost as awkward as me and my sister. We went to Don Folder, you know, one of the Eagles members.
Folder, yeah.
He had a concert, and I had the opposite experience. We were the youngest people there for like consolation. I'm 19 and my sister's 15, and so we're there, and it's all like people who are like 60 to 70 years old, and they're sitting there.
Oh my god!
And I'm the youngest. We're the youngest people there. And then, like, you know, like even Don Folder was really showing his age. Like he was like literally goes up stage and he goes, "Any of you ever been to Woodstock?" And it's like nobody raised their hand because like, no.
That's when you should go like, wait, you mean the 94 one or was it 97? I forget which one. I had
94 and 99.
But it
It's
was
94,
cool.
okay.
It was cool. He sang that song from Heavy Metal.
Take a
Take
ride.
a ride,
the
heavy metal.
Heavy metal, yeah. That's like
they used it in South Park when they were doing the cheesing one or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Jesus, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, but Brian, you got to admit, dude, Heavy Metal is one of the best animated films of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like,
And
did you ever see?
soundtrack is epic.
Did you ever see Heavy Metal 2000?
Way back then, but
Dude,
I just watched that after I watched the Heavy Metal 4K because they came in a set together. Was not a fan of Heavy Metal 2000. Isn't it weird that? Isn't it weird that Fantasia 2000 and Heavy Metal 2000 came out the same year?
Well, I mean, Fantasia was just a re-release, but I mean,
No,
you
Fantasia
know.
was a brand new movie.
Fantasia 2000. It was the sequel.
Oh, was it brand new? I
Yeah,
never watched
it.
it.
Was a sequel. Yeah, it was a sequel.
Okay. Well, I'll say this though about Heavy Metal 2000. See, the thing with Heavy Metal is that Heavy Metal was an anthology, you know, dealing with like all of the weird shit, the orbs, all the weird kind of crazy stuff. And Heavy Metal 2000 was like, you know, a vehicle for Julie Strain and Michael fucking Ironside. But I will like, I had the soundtrack to Heavy Metal 2000, and it's actually a solid fucking soundtrack.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a solid soundtrack. The movie itself was just
the
not that
movie,
good compared to the
if
first
it
one.
would have, no, because dude, the original was one of the best animated films. Like, you know, it's just such a weird movie. It's so magical for all the violence and sex and that shit. Like, you got to understand though, because like, you know, again, like you just said you're 19, like when you know Heavy Metal came out, I think like around the time I was born. You know, I just turned 40. So it's like that movie is old, but it's iconic. And I didn't see it until I rented it from Hollywood Video back in like the mid 90s. And I was like, what movie is this? And my stepdad's like, oh, you're going to love it. Never mind. My stepdad was like, never, you probably shouldn't watch this movie because you're too young to understand the core themes of what's happening. But it's just such an iconic fucking film. And then the sequel I liked because I felt like just like an adult animated movie that had the name Heavy Metal. But you know, like what was it? Zack Snyder, I think, was going to work on a Heavy Metal
Wait,
movie
what?
for a while.
Snyderverse is restored. Okay.
No, this was years ago. I think like Fincher and
I gotta
Snyder
check
were going to
this
work
out.
together on like doing a remake of Heavy Metal or something.
See, you lost my interest when you said Zack Snyder, but then you got my interest again when you said David Fincher.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I agree. Spherical Man there. Rip Julie Strain. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not even a Zack Snyder hater. I'm just not like
Trust
a
me,
big
it's like,
fan of him, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to go on for too much longer. I was going to start wrapping up in a little bit, but I'll ask this to be the last thing we talk about really quickly, and then we'll end the stream. But how did you guys feel about the Kenobi finale?
Let me just
Very
say
good.
this.
Loved
I
it.
thought it was. Oh, sorry.
Oh, Brian, you want to go? Oh, sorry, Dark. Just go
No,
first, then Brian.
you're fine. Go ahead.
Well, let me just say this. There were a few issues that I had with it. Like I always do. Like let's just say I did do something how Tyrone Magnus does a movie review. I give it like out of 5. I give this 3 out of 5. Only because there were certain things, especially with Reva and the pursuing of Luke, and that whole thing. I was just like, okay, like it was okay, but it was like at the same time though. Like what they did with Reva and how she like automatically escaped from the planet and just automatically shows up on Tatooine. I was just like, what? How did she do? Did she fly like Superman over there? Or
It
like...
definitely feels like most of Obi-Wan, the episodes have like those kind of leaps in logic where you're just supposed to like put the pieces together yourself.
Thank you,
But,
Saggy. Thank you,
when you
Saggy.
break that
Also,
down, what
just
actually is
FYI,
happening doesn't
Saggy.
really make that much sense.
Yes. Thank you, Saggy. I know you're an expert on that as a fellow swallower. Thank you.
Hello, Saggy.
Wait, as a
Hi.
fellow swallower, I don't swallow, so you're the only other person this occasion. Was that a Freudian slip or what?
Yeah, are you like trying to tell
Like
us?
as a fellow swallower, like aren't you?
No, I said
Buddy.
she's a fellow swallower. That's what I meant.
No, a fellow that implies that you also swallow cum.
Yeah.
Well,
You worded that improperly,
You
sir.
like, yeah. I mean, you know, Caden
That's not what I
admitted
meant to say. It's not
like
what I meant to say.
admitted he thought he thought he had pink eye because he shot a load in his own eye once, which is not
no,
how that
wasn't
works.
me. That
But
wasn't
it's
me.
like, are you just
someone
like,
else.
are you just trying to play a game of like, can I fire off a shot and catch it in my mouth like you know, a popcorn piece or some shit?
No, that's not what
You
I
just
meant.
like, do you hate to waste certain things? Like he's like, well, I don't want to fucking waste it, you know.
Well, no,
it's my
I
seed.
I am very particular about like not wasting stuff, but not that. No.
You just do you sit there like light some candles and like put it on a plate and like bring out a fork and a knife and put on some smooth jazz and you're just like, hello.
Wait,
put on Hollywood After Dark
You're going back home, little fella. All the millions of you right now that are gasping for air. Don't worry, you're going home.
I don't like this conversation.
More so that they're coming.
Ryan, what did you think of Obi-Wan, the finale?
Oh, absolutely loved it, man. My favorite part was the mirroring of the Ahsoka in Rebels, where
yes,
he gets his mask cut in half and you get to see his
Yeah, that
face.
shit was beautiful.
And the explanation there, that was my favorite part of the whole damn thing. I loved it.
That was one thing with going into this finale that was kind of like, I don't know, was Vader, why he would stop pursuing Obi-Wan once he knows he's out there, you know? But I think the way they handled it made sense.
Well, I think the all three arcs, right? Reva, Vader, and Kenobi were all about not being a slave to your past.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Or your past failings, or you know, even Vader at the end there with the Emperor saying, you know, like, is there something wrong? Are you just having trouble letting go? And then he's all like, no, I only serve you, because he knows that he has to serve the Emperor, so he has to also let that go.
Well, I think a part of him also eventually does see an opportunity in the future to kill him if he continues to be around.
Well, I think it's because he says, you know, it doesn't break canon, because in A New Hope, you know, he goes like, I sense something I haven't felt in a long time. That still maintains. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't exactly state, you know, how long that period of time was. We just all assumed, oh, it's in between prequels and originals.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Fellow swallower, I'm sorry, I just can't do it.
Yeah,
that's that's lingering now.
And on
It's
this
just
episode
lingering.
of Hollywood After Dark tonight, we're going to be talking about how RJ is a fellow swallower.
No, it's I don't even know if I want
You're
to.
welcome. You're welcome, I guess.
What the Saggy? Are you okay?
I don't know. Apparently, me accidentally saying I swallow makes her horny. I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going on
Listen,
anymore.
everybody has their kinks, RJ.
Saggy, are you okay? Let me know. Are you okay?
Are you okay? Did you choke?
Saying no, I'm dying.
Saggy, remember, you have to swallow.
Hot Mike Zero. What?
What the? Who? You're making.
I make everything
What the
worse. Like
fuck?
that's just
What
me.
the hell?
But no, in all seriousness, getting back on track. Obi-Wan is a conflicting series to me because there's a lot of stuff in that I really, really like. I just said the journey, like the finale, I thought really stick the landing, but I thought that the journey getting there was very messy. If that makes sense.
I think Boba Fett is very similar to this show, where a lot of it is like half of the episodes are good, half of the episodes are kind of weird placement. So it's hard to really put it all together and go, is this a good
Not
show?
like
Because-
that. Not like that. I meant like stick
Not
with
the
landing.
same way.
Like
Oh God.
that's. God damn it.
Messy. Bro, they're literally gonna keep making this joke. Or RJ, they're gonna keep making this joke until one day you just tell them like to quit it.
My
They need to
point
call
being is
Rumpel
that there was a lot of inconsistencies with this series leading up to the finale. But I'm glad the finale paid it off well enough to where overall it was satisfying. I just wish the journey to get to the ending, because to me, I feel like the writers were really obsessed with like the ending, right? And like they couldn't write the story properly to get to that ending. There's a lot of stuff, especially with Reva. Thanks, Axel. There's lots of Reva that I really wish could have been more fleshed out and given more time to breathe, but it ultimately wasn't, right? Where it's just like there's so many great ideas here that I wish was just given more time. I think the 6-episode format really hurt.
I was
the
also
rewrite
just
hurt.
shocked when I went on Disney Plus today and saw the episode was 50 minutes because I swear I thought I saw that Disney or Star Wars account officially tweeted out that the episode was gonna be like an hour and a half.
That's what I
No.
heard about too. For a minute, I was like, maybe it could be, but then I saw it.
And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. This is like, okay, I feel like that actually got me.
Well,
excited, but
the
then
rumor
seeing-
is that they retooled the show, the ending of the show, to leave it open for a second season.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what making Star Wars said.
who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, that's what that's been going around for a while there. But I mean, RJ, do you think that the show landed the plane, right? We'll say we'll use that vernacular.
Yeah, they landed.
and but it didn't blow its load too early. It really saved it to the end. It climaxed at the right time.
I think the show landed its plane about as well as the plane scene from Madagascar 2, where they technically landed, but they still crashed along the way. But overall, it was a good landing.
Yeah.
I will say, because I watched episodes 5 and 6 back to back, because I missed episode 5 last week. So I just like held on and I avoided, like I knew who Reva was. I could figure that out. So like I saw some of the spoilers, but I legitimately had a smile on my face when in episode 5, when Hayden and Obi-Wan when Anakin and Obi-Wan were, Attack of the Clones battling each other, right? They were sparring.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was really good. I saw some people complaining about like how the finale jumped between Vader and Obi-Wan and then back to Reva with Luke. And I'm like, that's just how a TV show is, man. That's how a movie is. Like they always jump in between and to expand it a little bit more and to make you want it more.
Yeah, I get what you mean, Matt. I do, because I've been hearing a lot about that too. It's like, okay, look, even though the whole thing with Reva wasn't bad, that doesn't mean the episode is like downright shit. Like it was still an entertaining episode.
I think, well, again, like the whole point is like it's all about escaping your past.
Yeah.
Right? Like Reva held on to the hatred that she had, and she had no one there to guide her. So she was like giving into the dark side. Well, she thought she had an idea. She would have succumbed to if she would have killed Vader, she would have succumbed to the dark side completely. Right.
Exactly.
Like that is, I think at this point, well established with Return of the Jedi. And then at the end there, when, like she dropped her lightsaber, Obi-Wan's like, you're free now. You don't have this burden anymore. Like, you've honored the younglings by not becoming what killed them, and it's like, but revenge is always something that happens in this case. And Obi-Wan felt regret and remorse over what happened. He shut himself off to the Force in order to look after Luke, with the intent of training him, thinking that would be the way to stop Vader down the road, right? But realizing
Well, I
that
think
that's
it's
not
kind
the
of
right
like in
course of action.
Spider-Man, where like when Toby's talking about in No Way Home about how he hunted down Uncle Ben's killer, and it didn't make him feel better.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
causing
I mean,
them-
yeah. Revenge is just again, it's empty once it's over, right? You get there, but then what? And that's the morality tale here. I actually really enjoyed Reva's end because we don't know what's going to happen with Reva. And I have a feeling that the character is interesting enough to see where she stands now. It's possible. Again, I do think that there's going to be a Cal Kestis show that goes on. And I think it's possible Reva might show up for that. That's kind of
That is something
yeah,
I'm
that's
very
definitely something I want from Star Wars, is to adapt some of the games into movies and shows. I think that isolating these fan favorite things to just the games is a little absurd at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like probably the worst thing about the episode I feel like was the editing. and some of the
Yeah, there was too
storytelling
much shaky cam, I think, during Vader's fight and
all the
Rev
way
and
through.
Luke.
And I'll tell you, it was made worse for me because I spent a week on a boat, so I had to recalibrate, like to being on a boat without.
Yeah,
the
I
constant
really
sway.
don't like the shaky cam in this series. The shaky cam was not
It-
done very well.
It worked in the opening shot of the first episode, showcasing like how shit went crazy. But then it just became like it really just went too far with it. And I think they added in some digital shake as well in some shots. And I feel like, again, even at the end of the show, when Obi-Wan is on that creature, and it's like that just looks like some of the worst CG.
Yeah,
it's
CG
like-
was not very good in a lot of the show. I
Yeah.
will say
It's
though,
very strange because I
nothing
think
in
a
this
lot of it
series.
has been good in all the Star Wars shows that have come out.
Yeah.
Wait. Well, I mean, I think, but they have been known to update the digital effects after the fact. So I have a feeling that Obi-Wan will get a visual upgrade patch pretty soon. But I
Yeah.
also do feel that again, the VFX companies are pretty strapped right now. So
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's something to do with it. But if they do give us a sequel, it's like they can't have Vader and Obi-Wan battle each other again. Like,
Yeah, they cannot have that.
Yeah,
like,
what would be the point of it? Do you think if they were to make a season 2?
Yeah, well, I mean, like an idea I think that they could do for season 2, if they do actually do it, is like have the Grand Inquisitor come back and we finally see a fight between Obi-Wan and him, and then like him and Reva can like, I don't know, do a team up or something. I don't know, but at least have a
I don't
fight
know, I
between
think
Obi-Wan and the Grand
Well,
Inquisitor.
I'm just gonna say really quickly, like honestly, for me, I don't see anything with this ending that makes me go, "Oh yeah, this definitely needs a season 2." Like I'm fine with it ending at this point.
Yeah,
don't
I
need
think
more.
I think even what you were just mentioning about the Grand Inquisitor fight, I don't see a reason that I need to hear that story told. But then again, I don't see a reason that Andor needs to happen, but I'm still excited I'm gonna watch the
Oh
show.
no, Andor is gonna be legit. That's the Star Wars show I'm looking forward to. That show I think is gonna be legit.
Quick
I think
question,
it's
actually,
gonna be, I
RJ.
think it's gonna be really good, but I'm like, why do I
Yeah.
need this character's backstory?
Yeah,
You know,
well, real
'cause
quick,
you kinda
Darkness,
don't.
what were you gonna ask?
I was gonna ask, because you say Andor is like the number one Star Wars show that you're very interested in. I'm just curious, what is the second most interesting Star Wars show that you're interested in? Ahsoka, Mando
Oh, it's
season 3.
Ahsoka. It's Ahsoka. Easily
Oh,
Ahsoka.
hey, right here, man. For if
Yeah,
I-
for me, it's definitely Ahsoka. I mean, that is the one that I cannot wait for. I think that is gonna be legit. Like
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Mando season 3. Don't get me wrong, but I have more
yeah.
attachment to Ahsoka, and I really am curious what they're gonna do with that show.
Yeah,
I
same
think,
here.
I think my only thing about Mando season 3 is Grogu's reunion being shoved into Book of Boba Fett has ruined
Yeah,
that
that was
excitement
so
of it,
shoved
like
in.
not knowing where
Yeah.
season 2 is gonna go, or not season 2, season 3, right? Because that's the big thing about after season 2 ended is like where's season 3 gonna go, you know? But they
And
kind
then,
of
like-
like
Oh, yeah.
now it's too obvious where season 3 is gonna go in a way.
I think they were too afraid to have Mando and Grogu separated for too long.
They should
I
have
really,
reunited in season 3, not the end of
no,
Book of Boba
I
Fett.
agree. I agree.
I
Book of
mean,
Boba Fett was a side adventure for Mando.
They were too afraid. I would literally think that it was just executives probably came in and told them to put it in there because they were worried about merchandise not flying off the shelves without Grogu around.
And like people who didn't watch Book of Boba Fett and who will go to watch Mando season 3 will be like, somehow Grogu returned.
Well, look, like
Yeah,
I'll tell you, I go to Walmart and Target and I see tons of Boba Fett figures for the series still on the shelf, and they're like super stocked, and they can't get rid of them. You know, compared to Grogu, where like I'll see it on the shelf, but then I'll come back in a week and it's gone.
Damn. Well, I mean, they sell out, man, like that.
Oh yeah, they do, and that's why I'm, every time I see one I want, I'm like I'm gonna get that. So now I have like probably close to 20 different Baby Yodas now.
Yeah. Well, the thing
And
is, though, too,
they're really
is that
stupid because it's like this one's slightly different, that one's slightly different. Like they really get you on all the damn features with these damn Baby Yodas.
yeah. Well, the thing too about that is that like, and this is someone that actually made a very good point over on one of my streams like a few months back. But someone named some of you may know him. His name is Thade. He was on my channel, and he made a good point. He was like, the reason why they keep showing Baby Yoda is because that brings in more people. And Disney wanted to do that with the Book of Boba Fett and bring him in. is because they knew that would bring in more people to get more like watchers to watch the Book of Boba Fett.
And I think for the most part that's true. Because I see people in public who like they don't know Star Wars, but they recognize Baby Yoda. I'm sure I think majority of people don't recognize that Baby Yoda is not actual Baby Yoda,
Yeah, exactly.
And I think also, like I can attest to this too because I got my grandpa who, after the sequels, denounced Star Wars. He's like, I'm done. He's also just not, he's a big Republican guy, so he's also like on the screw Disney train, especially right now.
Okay.
But like he really got into Mando because that Baby Yoda, and that's the only reason he watched the show is he wanted to see that kid.
But I mean, like my question that becomes is, like,
Oh,
I don't know. What is it? Is it the same? Is it the same sex kiss that has your friend on the F Disney train, or is it Gina Carano's no longer in the Mandalorian?
It's all that crap going on in Florida, all of it.
Oh, the Florida stuff. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. I mean, again, you have a fascist governor, whatever.
But at the same time, he's my grandpa, so he's older, so it's not like his opinions on politics really matter. Because hate to say it like this, but he's gonna die out soon.
Well, I mean, you can say it like
Yeah,
that all
that's
you
one way
want,
to
but
put it, yeah.
but listen,
Right.
I'll just be honest with you there. You know what though? He still has a vote, and that vote still counts. So it doesn't matter until he's actually 6 feet under. He can still vote, and
Well,
so it's not that his opinions aren't worthless. They actually the older demographic votes. Trust
yeah,
me.
they definitely do. I wish my theater, all of the employees were very mad about this, but we showed that 20,000 Meals movie, and I will tell you, a lot of older people were watching it.
Yeah.
And-
I
and,
don't doubt. I saw a guy today at Costco with a QAnon sticker on the back of his car.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm always just tempted to just like buy my grandpa one of those stickers that says, "Do you hear voices?" Then turn off Fox News. But then I know he would never talk to me again.
Yeah. I said today on Facebook that that Trump tried to he tried to overthrow the government and shit. And my cousin, who is a very intelligent guy, really intelligent kid, was just like, he's like, "Oh, you believe the mainstream media?" And I'm all like, "You watch Fox News. It doesn't get more mainstream than that. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, exactly. And then
it's
there's
just-
also, I was listening to some of those January 6 hearings today, and I literally saw a video from CNN. I accidentally clicked on it. I didn't realize it was CNN. And they're like, the viewership for January 6 trials is actually super low, and no one's paying attention. I'm like, what are you even talking about?
Nah, the viewership is very high. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
CNN
well-
actually beat out Fox in the daily demos because
And
of the January 6th
I don't know if
coverage.
this was true. I thought I heard that Fox refused to air the January 6 trial, and they aired it on their channel Fox Business, and they aired it without the audio.
I know RJ probably wants to end everything here real quick, but
Yeah, I know.
I will say this though. They did run it in the background without any audio, but they also never had commercials. So people would stay on the network and they wouldn't go over and listen to it or wherever. So they've
Yeah.
done quite a bit. It's pretty funny.
I think just to end off the January 6 talk, I think one thing I put out today was just that,
Max.
when we're talking about that congressman who got that death threat to his house, I literally just was like, what's more important, believing that Biden got wrongfully put in office and getting him out of office, or protecting American lives and citizens? And
Well,
that's what you need to consider right now.
A lot of the people feel that they have been defrauded, essentially. So, because they were told time and time again that they were defrauded, that they were lied to, when all the evidence has said, no, things happen the way that they happen. You all just can't believe reality. And I think a lot of it at this point is cognitive dissonance, where they feel that they have to they have to believe it, because if not, it just breaks literally everything they believed. But the thing is, though, the cracks are starting to show. Some of the more ardent supporters have actually started to walk away, and yeah, it's.
And do you think Trump
Real quick,
could go to prison for this?
Wait, what were you asking?
Do you think Trump could go to prison for his actions?
I
mean, that's just a loaded question. That's probably better.
Well,
served
I can
someone else, to be
summarize it.
honest.
I can summarize it very quickly. Rich white dudes don't go to jail for very long. I think Trump will
That's fair.
probably not get indicted on a federal level, but on a state level through the AG of New York, who is very much chomping at the bits and going after the entire Trump organization for all of the crimes that they have allegedly committed. And that's going to be very interesting. But I think a lot of it is going to be keeping Trump from trying to get reelected. I don't even think he has enough sway at this point to get reelected. I think it's going to be DeSantis out of Florida who's going to get the nomination, and that is frightening as
Very
fuck.
scary.
Considering the fact that the GOP is no longer going to be involved in any of the presidential debates, which have been a long-standing tradition in our country, and they're pulling the fuck out because I don't know why. They're afraid, maybe. That's a problem.
I think one people. I think the other thing about people who
RJ's
think
just
that,
trying to answer a question.
Yeah, I got to answer this question. I'm sorry. Question for the panel: what do you guys think about the Quinlan Voss name drop in episode 3?
Where was Quinlan Voss on January 6th, RJ? Where was Quinlan Voss on January 6th? Okay, because you know what? We had the QAnon shaman up in that motherfucker, okay? Where was Quinlan Voss?
There'll be
Obviously, they used some Jedi mind trick to get on in because the Proud Boys didn't do nothing. Didn't you hear? They didn't do nothing. They good boys, all right? They good Proud Boys. No one broke, who let them in? Who has the mind control ability, right? The Jedi mind trick. Where was Quinlan Voss on J6? I'm telling you. Follow the money. Okay.
Where was Max Rebo on January 6th?
Here's the thing. What does the Proud Boy uniform look like? It's a black polo with gold trim, right? What does Quinlan Voss have over his eyes? Gold trim. Bam. Solved it.
Okay.
Quinlan Voss runs the
My
Proud
God.
Boys. He was there on J6. He runs the show. Problem solved. Book him, Dano. They're going to jail. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200.
Yeah, he was in a relationship with Hans Ventress before she died. That's what's going on. I don't know. I feel like the Quinlan Voss name drop will probably tie into like something in Star Wars live action eventually. He's a decently
Yeah, that'd
popular
be
character.
cool.
With these. They want to do something with them.
Not that I know much about that character, to be honest.
Yeah. Miss Marvel, I watched episode 2 tonight. I got to catch up on episode 3. I've not seen episode 3 yet, so don't spoil it for me,
I
please.
think-
But
I think, to be honest, episode 1 was my least favorite. I thought it was just a very generic
I loved
movie.
episode 1.
Episode 2 was my favorite. I think it was excellent, and that episode got me excited for the show. And I enjoyed episode 3 a lot too. So I'm actually, I think this might become my second favorite of the Marvel shows. WandaVision being number 1, but everything else has kind of been like anime. So
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I gotta watch episode 3, but I'm very much I'm loving the show this far. Matt, you still gotta check it out, don't you?
I do. I was, last night I opted, I watched, Kenobi, and then when that was over and I was like, all right, that was pretty good. I decided to watch, The Boys, because that's a show I actively engage with. And I really, really, really like The Boys. So that's what I did.
Yeah,
Not to say that I don't want to watch Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel. That's a show you do not want to skip out on. It's great.
I mean, apparently, I don't really feel like no one has told me that anything major has happened that I've missed out on. That's kind of been,
there's something like
not really a show where major things
earth-shattering.
happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's something earth-shattering going on. I mean, like, it's a lot. It's an origin story. There's a lot of setup, but it's so good. Like, it's a good show to watch. I think after this episode, though, I'm hearing that episode 3 has a lot larger connections to larger MCU. So I think after episode 3, it was going to the second half of the show. It's going to connect more, and you'll probably get like some more big reveals. So
I think the problem with Marvel discourse now is everything has to be earth-shattering, otherwise it's failing. And it's just, again, it's kind of that blockbuster talk of everything has to be the best thing ever or the worst thing ever. And to me, that kind of movie culture is very frustrating because it's just like, can't some things just be okay or some things just be good while just, being smaller in nature?
Yeah, exactly. I get what you mean.
I think where we are at this point is that it's a lot of people don't think critically. I think at this point with a lot of the stuff, it has a lot to do with how much I think binging has hurt a lot of stuff. I think that it's kind of like everything has to be like, if anything is lower than like an 8 out of 10, it's shit. You know what I mean? Or like if it's like not a 4 out of 5, if it's a 3.5 out of 5, it's like, even though like extrapolate that would be a 7, and a 7 is above average. And it's like, but people have this weird idea based upon these reviews. I blame Rotten Tomatoes. Absolutely blame Rotten Tomatoes. I blame Metacritic. I blame CinemaScore. I think a lot of it is just thumbs up, thumbs down is really how people should look at it. But
that's why in conversations with people where I bring up Rotten Tomatoes, I'm like, I mean, that's kind of interesting. It has me a little bit interesting that it has a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but I'm also like, I don't trust them anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways, I got to get going, guys. Peace out.
All right, we'll see you,
See ya.
Darkness. Yeah, everybody, we're gonna start winding the stream down.
yeah, I guess I'll stream. I guess I'll, I don't know.
It's kind of
guys,
me. I just keep the stream keep going.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, thank you all for stopping by. I know it was a last minute thing. Just talked for a little bit about some fun stuff. Cool stuff is on the way for me. We'll see. Got a lot of plans in the works. Hopefully, we'll see what goes on. And yeah, thank you all for stopping by, and we'll catch you guys in the next stream. Peace back out.